You don't know. Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you, Lord. Boy, you ought to tell somebody else. Yes, sir.
Let us pray. God of loving kindness, mercy, and grace, we thank you for another day. We thank you for keeping us, bringing us back to this house of worship one more time. You've been good to us, you've been better to us, and we've been to ourselves. So we say thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
You could have left us. You could have abandoned us.
Yeah.
But you promised in your word that you would not. Despite our condition, despite what we are going through, you are our keeper. And we thank you today. As I come, God, prepared to deliver your word, asking that you move the curtains out of the way. Take me and place me at the foot of the cross there. I might see your will and it might be done. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Praises be to God our Father, Jesus Christ, our Savior, the Holy Spirit, our Comforter, and our guide to ministers and preachers of the gospel. We honor you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the deacons ministry, we honor you, to the executive board, and members, visitors, and friends. We thank God for another day.
Yes.
And He has spared our lives that we might see one another.
Yes, sir.
Because it could have been the other way. We could have been looking at somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody could have been looking at us.
That's right.
And not seeing us. And we're not seeing them. God has spared our life one more time.
Yes, He has.
I solicit your prayers that God might be favorable unto us as we look at the second prayer that Christians should always pray. Amen. Coming from Psalms 40. And I want to look at verse 17, which is on the board. Amen. And it reads, "And for me, since I am poor and needy, let the Lord keep me in his thoughts. You are my helper and my Savior. Oh my God, do not delay." I want to talk on this prayer. Lord, help me.
Amen.
Lord, help me. David was a successful king because David understood that he was not operating by his own power and authority. Whatever David sought out to do, he would always bow down and pray to God. And today we have an example of one of the prayers that David penned and gave to the chief musician so that it might be sung in worship during those days. And as we look at this, I'm not going to try to elaborate on everything, but there are a few points that I want to make in these passages. Let's go from verse 1. Let's do it that way. I want y'all to help me out. Amen?
All right.
Let's look at that first verse. Okay. One of the most important process of prayer is waiting.
All right.
The problem is we don't like to wait. We are an impatient people. If we go to the supermarket and the line is too long, we will put what we got in our basket to the side and walk out and go to another store. But the problem is when we get to the other store, the line is just as long.
Yes.
Sometimes God permits things so that we might wait. Amen. There are times when we're driving down the highway and there is perhaps a collision on the highway and we have to wait, but if we can get to the exit, we take the exit, then when we take the exit, we find out that everybody else took the exit also. We still have to wait.
That's right.
So one of the most important parts of prayer is not just praying, but waiting for God's answer.
Amen.
David says here, I waited patiently for the Lord to help me. He did not take things into his hands. He did not take matters into his hands. And a lot of times, my brothers and my sisters, our problem is when God doesn't move, when we want him to move, we move and try to fix it.
Yeah.
But the problem when we try to fix it, it really messes up. We make things worse. And it gets so bad until we just have to wait till God work it out. If we had waited just a little while longer, because whenever you put your hand into something that you ask God to do, God takes his hands off. So therefore, you prolong the process of waiting when you try to fix it for God. Can I get a witness? Yeah. Haven't we been talking about that in Sunday school?
That's right.
When you try to help God, it prolongs the process. So David says, I patiently waited for the Lord to help me, and he turned to me and heard me. God hears prayers. We just have to wait.
That's right.
All right? Go to the next verse. What did he do? Y'all heard that before in the sermon, right? Took my feet out the miry clay, placed my feet. Y'all heard that? Y'all know what that means? Say, Pastor, I don't know what that means. I'm glad you asked. Miry clay is a type of clay, and Rick can witness to this, that if you step in it, it tightens around your leg. And you can't get out by yourself. Because if you try to put this foot down to get leverage on this foot is going to go down. If you try to put your hand down to get leverage, your hand is going to go down. We have worked where we would step off, look like solid ground, and it sink. And when somebody, Rick is pulling me out, and I'm pulling Rick out, we will lose our shoe. Because the muck and miry is so tight.
All right.
David is talking about sin. He's talking about his life. He's talking about where God had to bring him from. He's talking about his habits that he had. That a habit is hard to break. And you can't break it by yourself. You need help. There's a young man on our job, and we always get at about smoking because, I can't take smoke because it really blocks my breath and it takes my breath away. And every time he lights a cigarette, he had to come to me and ask a question. I said, won't you stop me? He said, well, I can stop if I want to.
Want to.
As high as cigarettes, I ain't talking about nobody, as high as cigarettes today, how in the world can you keep on blowing your money away? That's what I said, son. I can stop if I want to. No, you can't. Reverend Herbert Stokes said, you need the Lord to stop. Whatever that habit is that you've been struggling with, whatever you've been trying to change in your life, you can't do it. You have to cry out, Lord, help me. And it's all right to cry out, Lord, help me. You will find out in the text. Come on, let's move a little further.
All right.
Let me go back. When he picked you up out of the muck and miry clay, he will place your foot on a solid rock and establish you.
All right.
Rocks don't sink.
No, sir. No, they don't.
the equipment to break a rock. So what David is saying is that God will take you and put you on solid ground so that you won't sink no more. All right? Now, so he gave me a song. He gave me a hymn. He gave me something that I might sing before the people. And when the people see me and see who I used to be, that's the problem. People can't see who you are now. They're still stuck on your past. And they can remind you of everything you ever said, everything you ever did, how you was, how your attitude was. But when they look at you now, they can't see the change in your life. But there are some who will see a change in your life if you keep on working for the Lord. And when they see the change in your life, then they will give God praise, that they will understand that God is able to do anything. You remember the story I told you about John, the alcoholic who joined the church, and then the prostitute came to church and saw John ushering. 3 Sundays she came, she joined the church, and the pastor said, "What did I say to make you join the church?" She said, "It was nothing you said, Pastor. But when I looked back there and saw John ushering, who was the neighborhood alcoholic, if God can save him, he can save me." When people can see God doing something in your life, it will make them turn to God and trust God. Okay? So God has made us to be witnesses for him. And sometimes our witness does not have to come from our mouth, but our walk. You can talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk. Let's go. All the joy of those who trust the Lord, who have no confidence in pride, all those who worship God. Amen. Let me look at something here. Oh, the joy of them who trust the Lord. What verse is that? 4. Oh, the joy of them who trust the Lord. I know my eyes, man. I can't see these small numbers. Let's see. I'm out. Well, I'm on the wrong chapter. Amen. I wanted to read it in another translation. Somebody got the Bible? Who have it? I mean, your phone, smartphone. It is the CEBUK. Mama. I see 5. 4 coming for 5, right? I see 3. Still in the wrong chapter. 4 first, somebody got it? Read that.
You bless all of those who trust you, Lord, and refuse to worship idols or follow false gods.
That's what I want to see. It says, you bless those who trust you, Lord. All right? God bless the ones who trust him, but then there is a backdrop to that also. Those who do not worship idols. Worship means to bow down. I think the New Century Version, or one of them, New International Version, says those who are proud. A proud person is something Reverend Pendergrass is talking about. A proud person is somebody who believes that they have achieved what they have achieved by themselves. And many times when God does not answer our prayer, if we have somebody who have been successful, you know, we try to go to them and get what we need from them. Can I say a finance company? And we go and try to get what we need from them in order to fulfill what we are in need of instead of waiting on God. God will bless those who trust him. Trust deals with patience. Goes back to that first verse. If you trust God, you have to wait on him. No, you can't hurry God. You have to trust him and give him time. No matter how long it takes, he's never too late. He's always on time. All right?
Yeah.
So you have to trust him. He blessed those who trust him and do not bow down to idols. Who do not give up. All right? Let's go. Next one. Go. Go ahead. Okay? What I want you to notice is what David is doing. David is not trying to boost God's ego, but rather David is reminding himself of what God has already done. All right? Many times when we go to God, we forget what God has already done, and then doubt began to step in. So David is removing all of the doubt out of the way. As he said, everything that he just said, as he says those things, he's moving all the doubt. There's so many things, God, that you've done for me, I can't even number them. He's moving all doubt out of the way. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves of what God has already done for us when we go to him for him to do something else for us. All right? That's what David was talking about. Let's go. He said, I do your will because it is written in your heart. Your commandment is written in my heart. We have to have his commandments, his instructions written in our heart. And anything that's written in your heart, your body will do. Huh?
All right.
What is the greatest commandment? That's it. Love the Lord thy God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and your neighbor as your... That's the commandment that God gives. If we put that thing in our heart,
Yes.
and don't allow anything else to come into our heart like hate, then we will be able to carry out the command of God. Let's go. Not to be long. I don't want to do every verse. Okay. David is talking about standing before the congregation. He's talking about speaking to the kingdom. He wasn't a preacher, but he was the king. And many times the king had to encourage the people. Nowadays, King Jesus encouraged us. If we can't listen, then we have to listen to what the preacher is saying. And as David has said in this verse, I have told you all about God's justice. I have told you myself. I have told you that you don't have to fight back. I have told you don't worry about when folks talk about you, because they're going to talk whether you want them to or not, whether you respond or don't respond, they're going to still talk about it. I have told you what God is able to do. Am I right? Amen. Let's go.
I have not kept the good news of your justice in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I have talked about your faithfulness and saved my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I have told everyone your grace and
Mm-hmm. Haven't I told you that?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Lord, don't hold back your tender mercies from me. Let your unfailing love and faithfulness always protect me.
Look what David said. Lord, don't hold back your tender mercies from me. David, while he is praying, realized that he's in the need of the mercies of God. All right? But guess what? It didn't stop him from praying.
All right.
Y'all see where I'm going with that? Many times we don't pray, we don't ask God for something because we're too busy looking at ourselves and not understanding who God really is. God is not a get you God.
That's right.
God is a forgiving God. God is a saving God. God is a God who will pick you up out of the miry clay. God is a God who can change your life. Despite your condition, he can change your condition. So David says, I need your mercy and your love and your faithfulness. They always protect me. Protect me from what? Not just others, but from myself. Let's go. Watch what David says.
Troubles surround me, too many to count. My sins pile up so high, I can't see my way out. They outnumber the hairs on my head.
Wow. Wow. But yet he's praying. Yet he's going to God in prayer. He says, what? For trouble surrounds me. Look here. You don't have to look for trouble. Trouble is, so he didn't just say around, because y'all are around me, but you're not surrounding me. All right? He said trouble surrounds me. In other words, if I look to my left, to my right, front, back, under, over, trouble is all surrounding me. I'm surrounded by my trouble. And then what did he say? For there are many, too many to count. Too many to count. But David understood that in the midst of trouble, you can go to God. So even though he's surrounded by his trouble, he can go to God. Now look at the next thing. My sins pile up so high, I can't see my way.
All right.
Well, yes.
All of us have shortcomings.
Yes.
All of us have shortcomings. All of us have weaknesses. We can't allow our shortcomings and our weaknesses stop us from talking to God. So what we see here, we see David acknowledging. He's not trying to hide. You know? He didn't just call out one sin. Rather he says, my sins piled up. A pile, there's no space that you can see between them. I want y'all to see what David was saying, because a lot of times we refuse to talk to God because we sin. Because we messed up. And the enemy says, well, you might as well give it up, baby. I got you now. God ain't gonna hear your cry. Yes, he will. My sins piled up so high, I can't see my way out. They outnumber the hairs on my head. Now, he's not talking about crumbs and Tyrell. And they didn't cut all this off. But, okay, the face. Can you imagine? Can you imagine sins so many that it outnumbers the hairs on your head? We not like that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can we get 9? We have a few. But David says, outweigh the number of hairs on my head. But yet, David prayed. So you have to confess to God and let him know that you know your condition. I'm not coming to you phony. I'm coming to you real. I'm coming to you saying that I am who I am, and you know who I am, so therefore I will not fake it. Let's go. Please, Lord, rescue me from who? Me. Look at it. When I mess up, it's nobody's fault but whose? So we have to ask God to rescue us from me, especially because we can see ourselves headed down the destruction road, but yet, there are some things we want to hold on to. There are some pleasures that we like so much, we don't want to give up. So when we find ourselves falling, the prayer is, Lord, rescue me quickly. Because if you don't get me quickly, the enemy is going to feed to my head that I'm no good. Rescue me quickly. And then when you rescue me, I need your help not to go back down the road again. But if I do, rescue me. Let's go. Now David has been declared as a man after God's own heart. We have been taught that we don't pray against people. We pray for people. But David teaches us different. What David is saying, Lord, handle them. Those who try to destroy me, attacking your character, lies and rumors, he says, humiliate and put them to shame. Look at it. Some folk don't believe lies. Huh? Did you hear what I say? People who know you won't believe what some folks say about you. And the people who know you are the only ones who matter. I don't worry about folk. No heaven, no hell. They are in possession of putting me in. I stopped by this morning, I saw a friend of mine who posted something on Facebook. I stopped by and I said, look at brother. Don't worry about what folks say about you. They're going to talk. I said, but you don't need to respond. Just ignore them. That's what we need to understand. Because what happens? When you respond, it puts fuel to the fire. When you respond, they say, uh-oh, I got it now. I got it now. Then they keep on because they know that it bothers you. But if you don't give no response, they say, okay, they ain't getting it. Let me try something else. Then they go from talking about you and then start talking about your wife. You know. One thing, some of us can't handle nobody talking about the wife or the children. Talk about me. You know, when you say, talk about me as long as you please, the more you talk, I'm going to bend my knees. Ain't said about talking about my family. Huh?
All right.
But what we have to understand is, even if they talk about the family, even if they talk about the wife has to be strong enough to let it go.
That's right.
And she has to be strong enough to say to the husband, baby, don't worry about it. Ain't nothing to that. Huh? So turn to shame. David says, make them shame. Make those who delight in my trouble Folks love to see you down, don't they? They love to see you struggle. She's supposed to be a Christian. I'm doing better than her. Go to that church all the time, ain't doing no better than me. What do you say? What do you say to do to them? Turn back in disgrace. What that mean? What you say about me, come back to you. Let's go. Okay, now, even though David says, get them, what happens is that when God began to get them, they would turn to God. So he changes the attitude when he says, but may all, but may all who search for you be filled with joy and gladness in you. So sometimes our quietness, our not responding to the issues, our just trusting God will cause people to see God in us and seek God. And then when they seek God, you're to be happy for them.
That's right.
In other words, though they talk about it, don't hold grudges. You know, if they come to you and say, you know, I said some things about you and I'm sorry. I've changed now. You made me see how God really works. And thank you. Don't roll your eyes at them. Tell them thank you because what you did, you put me on another platform. You lifted me higher. Because the more I can endure, the higher I can go.
All right now.
Yes, God.
May those who love you love your salvation. Repeatedly shout, what?
The Lord is great.
Let's go. The Lord is great. I'm almost done, I think.
As Jesus desired for me, let the Lord keep me in his house. You are my helper and my savior. Oh God,
If you have everything that you need, what you need to talk to God for?
All right.
We are afraid of poor and needy. Huh? Watch this. Poor could mean I'm a poor bookkeeper. Poor could mean I handle my money poorly. Therefore, I have more going out than I have coming in.
Right.
Okay? I'm poor in my actions. I'm poor in how I carry out my finances. And I'm leaving. Because I messed up so bad till I got more going out than I have coming in. I need your help that I might get some more to come in. But when they come in, you can't buy new stuff. The Lord keeps me in his thoughts.
Amen.
The Lord is always thinking about us.
Yes, he is.
We have not. We have not.
Because he is not.
We have not.
He is not.
We ask not because we're afraid of God. We're afraid that he won't do it. So we can't be afraid to ask God for help. For God is our helper.
Yeah.
Huh? We got to ask him for help. I'm done. And he'll help us. You can't do it by yourself. I don't care what it is. You didn't wake up by yourself. You didn't step out, roll out of your bed by yourself. You didn't put your clothes on by yourself. You didn't feed yourself by yourself. Because all God got to say is stop, don't move nothing.
Yeah.
You can't feed yourself, you can't clothe yourself. You can't put yourself in the bed. You can't bathe yourself. But we move and we breathe. We have our being by God. Amen?